Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer in Los Angeles, California. My name's BrianEngelman. Today is Saturday, July 19th, 2025, and this is the TNAM Daily Show Weekend Edition here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you on today's show. Well, it's about time. Good Lord, it's about time. How many of the years that the New American Media has existed, more than 14 years, we have been talking about the treason of the Barack Hussein Obama administration. The, dare I say, allow me to editorialize for a moment. Allow me to say, the obvious treason from Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, Victoria Nuland, the Deepstate, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, all of it. It's one thing to want to win an election. It's one thing to want to stay in control. It's one thing to try to keep one specific person out of office. And then it's another to go above and beyond to violate the civil liberties of the people involved, to rig the system and steal our democracy. We're a constitutional republic, by the way. South Park has, they took our jobs. The Democrat deep state has, they took our democracy. Well, chalk this one up to being yet another case of an out-of-control government bureaucracy taking away our fun and freedom. I'm going to move Nimbus today. Hi, guy. He's had a bit of a rough morning, so we're going to keep him on the ground. He's had a rough morning. There's a Norm Macdonald joke about the first joke he heard David Letterman tell about following a garbage truck. Don't follow too closely. He said, another one of life's simple pleasures taken away by an out-of-control government bureaucracy. Well, look, this out-of-control government bureaucracy has run amok. I don't know. How far back do you go? Blowing Kennedy's head off? Was that our own intelligence agencies run amok? I mean, it appears to be. Oh, no. It was just a single shooter all the way up there. Yeah, the patsy. Oh, and that guy's silenced immediately by Jack Ruby. Okay, it makes total sense. Sure it does. The people who, see, here's the problem. If a group of people, the deep state, get away with what they've been getting away with, they will continue to do it. They will do more of it. And they will get more brash, more brazen, more illegal, more unconstitutional, more disgusting, more treasonous, more traitorous. Now, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard releases the report. Yeah, obvious treason. Hillary Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, the deep state, committed treason to try to keep Trump out of office. They committed treason trying to have Trump indicted and impeached. Committed treason by having Trump lawfared, not to mention the multiple attempts to explode Donald Trump's head. You know, you remember Butler. We're old enough to remember Butler, aren't we? Why is this? Is this because they are in one big club and you and I aren't in it? Is it that simple? Sort of. They have been growing increasingly powerful over the decades and increasingly abusing the humans who inhabit America. We, the people. When in the course of human events, When in the course of human events. So we're going to talk about all the things we've learned. We're going to cover the other random stories, and we encourage all of you to jump into our comments section. When it populates, I'll put it up on the screen over here, and we will discuss the news of the day here on the TNAM Daily Show, brought to you by the New American Media. Let's get things started.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Take a victory lap. I told you so. I don't know exactly which phrase most accurately describes what I'm feeling right now. But there's also a sadness. Because I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to pay attention to things on this level. The current events are fine. Things are happening. We discuss them. All right, that's fine. That's one thing. But this is different. This has been like blinking red lights, hair on fire, danger, danger zone. Our country is on the verge of being overthrown. In fact, the graphic that we had made for our show, where is that graphic? Let me try it on here. It's probably preloaded here, right? I can't find it right now. I know I loaded it in here. Oh, is it up? Hey, Jamie, can you pull up our graphic? Yeah, I don't have a Jamie. Yet. Anyway, the raising of the flag at the end with the cheering and the explosions in a war. Yeah, that's one version of our show intro. That's one. But the other one that we had made, where's the other one? Oh, here it is. This is how we designed the intro to the New American Media, because it's been this urgent. Our nation has truly been overthrown by outside forces, hell-bent on destroying us, destroying our currency, destroying our way of life, destroying our safe neighborhoods, destroying our communities, destroying our identity, destroying our pride. I know pride's one of the deadly sins, but destroying our sense of belonging, and really just beating us down, stealing from us, and then using lawfare to shut down anybody who got out of line. Trust me, the New American Media has been at the front lines, and some of you have been here for a long time out of these 14 years. Some of you are recently following us, but we've been at the tip of the spear of, I don't know, Michael Hastings, Seth Rich, this treason, the stories that are too radioactive to tell. One of the things the New American Media is always prided. I don't want to use the word pride because it's one of the deadly sins. Pride cometh before the fall. One of the aspects that the new American media has always focused on was trying to deliver information on stories that we felt have been underreported by mainstream media. God, it's been so long since I said that phrase. It felt so weird. They're not mainstream. They're the lying legacy media. They are the state propaganda. And over the years, it became more and more obvious why we haven't been receiving actual information. It's because they're all colluding to steal as much as they can while they destroy this nation and screw everybody left behind. It's not our problem. We're going to get as much as we can and let it all burn. That's what the deep state Democrats have been up to for a long time. But now, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has given us some more information. Stuff that I've known for years and stuff that we've been talking about for a very long time. So let's go through some of it. MAGA voice here. Is there any more on this thread? No, I'll just click on this. Holy sh! These documents that Tulsi Gabbard declassified prove everything, and Obama should be in prison. They're a little small, but I'll keep going here. Hang on. Yeah, the comments. So, what's the penalty for treason? The documents Tulsi declassified aren't just smoking guns, they're wildfire. Everything we said proven. Obama didn't just know, he orchestrated it. Prison isn't extreme, it's overdue. Benny Johnson says the single most important moment of transparency in U.S. government history, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just declassified proof of treason by Barack Obama. I've never in my life seen the intelligence community declassify proof of their own crimes against the American people. The evidence is astonishing. Buckle up. U.S. intelligence admitted that Russia did not hack the 2016 election. We've known that. But think of all of the rubes, all of the mentally damaged people, the easily manipulatable, the easily brainwashed. Hello, Nick Adams, by the way. Did I say hello? I think I could put the chat up on the side here. We've known that Russia didn't hack the 2016 election. And in hindsight, look, the deep state has had a hard-on to try to destroy Russia for years and years and years and years and years. Now using the proxy in Ukraine after Victoria Nuland, Barack Hussein Obama, and Joe Biden overthrew Yanukovych. Put their puppet Zelensky in and started moving NATO onto the Russian border. Yeah, they provoked and they instigated. There's decades of problems going on. And regardless of whichever puppet president comes in, the deep state gets what the deep state wants. Well, that's some bullshit. I've said this the whole time. If the deep state cared about not devaluing our fucking currency and not sending so many of our brave men and women off to be sent home in body bags, the deep state probably could have been controlling a whole lot more for a whole lot longer without so much resistance and pushback. You have painted us into the fucking corner. You brought this on yourself, deep state. You keep saying deep state. What's the deep state? The deep state is the administrative, bureaucratic blob in DC that has entrenched itself, and every year it just eats a little bit more. It grows a little bit more. The talons sink into the flesh a little deeper. And I guess if you looked at the deep state now compared to maybe in the 50s or the 40s or the 30s or the 20s, the 10s, go back post-Civil War, late 1800s, it was different. But it's increasingly moved the Overton window to the point where the Overton window is a football field. They've moved that 10 yards for a first down. It used to be at the center field, 45 to 45. They have moved it down to the 1 yard line on the left. 1 yard line. There is no more room to push it into crazy. It simply must have blowback, snapback, pushback, in a fight back. Because you took too much. You got too greedy. You killed the goose that laid the golden egg. You robbed too much from us. You violated humanity terms too much. Oh, they're all powerful, all knowing, all omnipotent, omniscient. Yeah, we're well aware. We are well aware. What did Chucky Schumer say? The deep state has six, the intelligence agencies have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at someone that doesn't go along with their plan. Hey, Chucky, grow a spine. And yeah, I know. That's easy for me to say. Nimbus, you have to stay down today, okay, bud? But instead, they allowed themselves to get blackmailed, bribed, threatened, whatever it is that they did, it all worked. Because not enough people stood up and said, hell no, we're doing a clean house. You're all out. It's a constant fight. What did Reagan say? That liberty and freedom is not passed along to Americans through their bloodlines. You know, it's not something that's guaranteed through birth. Every generation is going to have to fight for it. Well, is it when Nixon took us off the gold standard that the deep state jumped the shark and stole too much, abused the American people too much? Partly. Was it 9/11? No shit. Are we even going to talk about that? I mean, yeah, it's all part of it. Is that the most recent case of a corrupt conspiracy blowing up thousands/millions of people to get millions/trillions of dollars? Maybe. Kennedy exploding. 1913 Federal Reserve, ADL, Jekyll Island, income tax. Like, what the hell was all that? It's been too much greed. It's been too much. And here's the blowback. The stuff Obama was getting away with air quotes for so long. It's been obvious to us in the independent media that the say alternative, but no, we are look at me. We are the media now. You are the new American media. It's a ragtag group of citizen journalists who've had enough. We don't want to be lied to anymore. Oh no, there's right wing and left wing on the television. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's all over the place. We can do this and that. No, that's not the case. When Fox News puts the debates on with Biden and Chris Wallace repeats the fine people hoax, trying to claim that Trump called Nazis and white supremacists, neo-Nazis, fine people. Fuck you, Fox. Double-barreled. There is no right-wing, common sense, conservative, libertarian, honest media. Fox is trash and has been. I know Gutfeld's great. Tucker was great, but look, they sacrificed him almost seemingly like they might have tanked their entire case against Dominion to try to, you know, let's just move along from this whole 2020 thing, because Joe Biden totally got wink, wink, 81 million, wink, wink, completely legitimate votes. Sure he did. Sure he did. Fox is in on it. Nick says, none of this matters. There will be no arrests. I disagree. We are going to create our reality and there will be arrests. Hillary and Barry. Bella's Chance. What's up, Sid? I was amazed that DNI Gabbard referred Obama. I'm not saddened at all. This must happen. Amen. Nick saying, sorry, that black pill's shining through. I know. And if David jumps in, David will be the first to tell you up in Ontario. He's not even an American, but he's a sympathizer to our plight, to our cause. He knows. He's like, where are the damned arrests? Where are the indictments? It's like, oh, there's hundreds of thousands of sealed indictments. Trust the plan. You don't let Biden get away with what they did in 2020 and then have 4 years to wreck the country and flood our nation with 30 million illegal aliens, unvetted, from parts unknown with intentions unknown. Full stop. Everybody out. And now let's go through a real process. Who are you? Why are you trying to get in here? Let's take a look at your background. Let's look at your criminal record. What are you bringing to the table? What are you trying to do here? You're trying to work? We're going to have a mechanism in place to make sure you're not going to steal American resources through Act Blue and U.S. aid and the Democrat deep state. There's David Ban as if on cue. Which way am I pointing? That way. There's David up there. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you're watching the show. But it's all being exposed now, and I am here for it. I mean, I'll really crack a bottle of champagne when we get the indictment. I want to see Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton perp walked. Anybody else agree or disagree with me? I want to see Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton perp walked. I want to see their mugshots. Do you agree or disagree? Type it in the comments. Do you want to see them in a perp walk? You want to see them get arrested? You want to see them with their mugshot? They are nothing but criminals, dirtbag thieves, and way worse. We'll save that for another moment once the rest of this stuff is exposed. But the way worse part is stuff we've been exposing for a long time, which is part of the reason why we have been so blocked from growth on YouTube, blocked from growth on Twitter, blocked from growth on Facebook, Instagram. Oh, yeah, we exist. But in some ways, it's like old man yells at cloud. I'm just arguing with a tree. Nothing's changing. Anyway, let's continue. Obama pushed the Russia hoax to sabotage Trump. It was a hoax. It always was a hoax. The Steele dossier was fake, but Comey used it anyway. We know. We've been reporting this for a fucking decade. Sorry, I'm supposed to be happy today, but it's like we've known this for the whole time. If they are not held accountable for their actions, this will keep happening, and it will keep ratcheting up. It will get worse and worse. I want this to stop happening. This has to stop happening or our country is doomed. Steele dossier was fake, but Comey used it anyway. Brennan and Clapper entrenched the hoax deep into the intelligence community and punished the whistleblowers. Yep. Speak up and get destroyed. Edward Snowden, Michael Hastings, Seth Rich. How many American heroes have been silenced, assassinated for trying to make this country a good country? Because you got dirtbags committing crime, committing treason, and stealing from you. Literally stealing your damned country from you, out from underneath your feet. And then if you try to stop that egregious assault on your freedom and liberty, you become a target. You get destroyed. You can't work. You can't earn an income. You can't speak. You're silenced, erased from social media. Fuck them. 14 years I've been battling this shit. 14 years screaming about this stuff. So corporate media was used to launder fake government propaganda relentlessly. Oh, yeah. See Stephen Colbert. The Russia probe was an insurrectionist plan to take down Trump. Yep. They knew Russia didn't interfere in the election, yet they fabricated intelligence to justify a years-long effort to overthrow Trump. This was a deliberate campaign of treason aimed at removing a legitimately elected U.S. president. The treason is exposed. We have the names. Now it's time to hold them accountable. Office of DNI lays this all out in their statement. You can go ahead and read it right there. Yeah, it's time for treason charges immediately. How many times have they tried to frame Trump for what they are doing? They point one finger, they have three pointing back at themselves. Shocked, I tell you. Bravo, Tulsi Gabbard. What is this now? Voters are demanding
Can you behave, sir?
President Barack Obama.
Just barely.
Voters are demanding that former President Barack Obama get arrested after it's revealed that the Obama admin manufactured fake intelligence to create the 2016 Russian election interference narrative, which is shown in documents. And there's Obama posting something. Democracy depends on an informed citizenry and social cohesion. Here's a look at how misinformation can spread through social media and why it can hurt our ability to respond to crises. A staffer asks Obama, "Are you ready? Are you going to behave or not?"
Are you going to behave or not? All right.
Did you behave, sir?
Just barely.
Behave, sir, just barely. What a great moment there. Treason charges today. File treason charges today. I want to see their mugshot. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Why can't I see this post? There we go. Can you see it? No, it's cutting it off. Agree, Nick Adams. Bella's chance. Agree. Yes, we're all ready for the treason charges. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth confirmed that they're now investigating Microsoft engineers in China who have access to the Department of Defense systems. This comes after Chinese hacker Zhu Zhaohui was arrested for stealing U.S. data on behalf of the CCP using Microsoft. Is Microsoft a hostile, anti-American, traitorous company? Will Gates be indicted? That's my comment there. Yeah, you never offshore your important stuff, especially to China. Are you out of your mind? James Dunn here says, thanks to newly declassified info released, we can prove that Obama knew that Russia didn't hack the vote. No election systems were compromised. Well, hold on. We'll get to 2020 in a second. And the outcome wasn't changed. But he let the Democrats run with that narrative anyway to sabotage Trump, divide the country, cause intense brain damage to the morons who believed that, like they thought they were getting accurate info and news, and to push for impeachment to remove Trump. That's not leadership. That's a coup. Natalie Winters, wow, the Wall Street Journal reporter behind the Trump Epstein story was conveniently behind bogus Stormy Daniels reporting too. He was credited for, quote, helping set in motion the first criminal prosecution of a former president, end quote, by New York Magazine. Oh, go figure. Yeah, they're all in on it. Round them all up for treason. This is a RICO case. This is coordinated. All right. Back to Epstein and one of his biggest financiers, Les Wexner.
So it's been reported repeatedly that there's a guy called Les Wexner, owner of the biggest house in Ohio. Who is Wexner and what is his relationship to Epstein? And before you begin, because I want people to keep this in mind as they're listening, as far as I know, and I think this is correct, Wexner, who I believe is still alive, has never been interviewed by the Department of Justice. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's correct as far as I know. So Les Wexner, he owns limited brands, L brands. So Victoria's Secret he owns, Abercrombie and Fitch, a lot of the places that you see when you go into the mall. I don't think it's the case anymore, but for a long time, he was the largest clothing manufacturer and distributor in the United States. Billionaire, incredibly wealthy guy. As you said, owns the largest and most expensive house in the state of Ohio, where he lives in Columbus. And the second largest and most expensive house in the state of Ohio was owned by Jeffrey Epstein and was directly behind Wexner's house.
What?
Yeah.
Still trying to get to the bottom of this. I mean, the biggest story is the deep state coup, but the deep state was using all this Epstein stuff as blackmail to keep everyone in line. All right. Breaking. This is live from America TV. 10 Americans are on their way to freedom in a large-scale prisoner swap, wherein approximately 250 Venezuelans deported from the U.S. who were detained in an El Salvador prison were sent to their home country in exchange for the American hostages held in Venezuela. Bravo. case you missed it, while the internet at large was distracted yesterday, Office of DNI declassified the report of evidence of Obama's conspiracy to subvert Trump's 2016 victory and his subsequent presidency. ODNI declassification, the alleged Russian hack of the DNC and DCCC. Yeah, Seth Rich was murdered, assassinated for that, allegedly, because he didn't like how the DNC was rigging their primaries. When did they do that before? Oh, when they coerced everybody to drop out and back their two least favored candidates, Biden and Harris, in 2020, or when they ran their scheme to have all their delegates vote for Biden, then remove Biden, and then install Kamala Harris without a vote. Yeah, the Democrat Party is a traitorous organization. They're a treasonous organization. They're a domestic terrorism organization. Not trying to be hyperbolic or clever here. They're literally a treasonous organization. FBI and NSA, however, have low confidence in the attribution of the DNC, DCCC data leaks to Russia. They lacked sufficient technical details to link the leak to Russian actors, of course, because it wasn't real. ODNI report indicates agencies under Obama's admin knew Russia would not interfere in the 2016 election, but still chose to push possibilities of cyber threats. There's some articles there. Some redacted, lots redacted. The intelligence community assessment to cyber threats to the 2016 presidential election, drafted by NIC, DHS, and CIA with contributions from all those other alphabet agencies, stated, although unlikely, in a perfect storm, a cyber adversary might be able to target a small number of critical counties in highly contested states with significant numbers of electoral college votes, potentially altering the apparent outcome of and almost certainly undermining public confidence in the election. There it is. Cyber threats to the 2016 election. Right. Pin the tail on Russia, Russia, Russia. This was all bullshit, people. Here's a nice meme. Don't talk to me until I've had my morning sponsored content, data harvesting, corporate propaganda, government psyop, doom scrolling. That's what we need every morning. Hey, here's a cool thing. Don't let anyone ever say that you hate immigrants. No. I love immigrants that want to come here through the front door, raise their hand, show their ID, explain themselves, learn the language, work really hard, protect and defend our First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, all of our amendments. Kind of come in as libertarian, conservative people, not radical communists, Marxists, globalists. No thanks. Islamists. No thanks. No Sharia here. Thank you. We got a Bill of Rights. That's perfectly fine. We're against people sneaking in and trying to fuck this country up from the inside. Look at this story David Harris shares. I don't have the backstory, but this says, beautiful. Updating my husband on his immigration process. A moment we've awaited for 3 years.
Okay. Hey, babe. Check your phone.
What happened?
Check your phone.
Hey, Linda. Where's my phone?
Check the text message I sent you.
There are many great, hardworking people that will break their back to do what it takes to just come in here and try to be in a better place instead of some shithole country where it's like if the deep state gets what it wants and overthrows your third world country and they treat you like slaves, the same shit Obama and his cronies were up to, the stuff being undone by Trump in this administration, making our country successful again, hardworking people. We want hardworking people.
I don't have anything.
Front door that aren't trying to do something criminal.
I don't have any messages.
For me?
Oh, apenas. No way. Oh.
Gotta mute it. Can't play music. I got nothing against some immigration with lots of assimilation. Makes me happy to see stuff when people are doing it the right way. That's a cool video. Brings tears to my eyes both times I watched it. On the flip side, you can't just wave your hand and say amnesty for all because, you know, it's a system that can be abused. I don't want to see another case of someone we should have filtered out who walked through our front door, showed their ID, we ran a criminal background check. Who are you? What are your intentions? I hate this country and I want to change it to Sharia. Country's full. Back to wherever you came from. Next. Yeah, I want to steal from the rich and so I can take all their stuff. Yeah, it's not. See ya. Country's full. What about you? Man, I just want to bust my ass and work really hard and make this country awesome. I want to learn the language and be successful and be a part of a winning team because my team sucks over here. So you want to renounce that citizenship, not come in here, start waving that shithole country flag and everything's about, I love that other country. I love that other country. We need to turn America's borders back hundreds of years. And this country used to be Mexico, and this used to be Spain, and this used to be this, and this used to be the Inuit. This used to be Canada. This used to be French. This used to be, everything has to go through the rear view mirror, and we got to destroy what's here. Country's full. No thanks. So you can't just offer amnesty, though. There's a problem with that. Charlie Kirk breaks that down.
So let's say somebody says, well, if you've been here for 15 years, you can stay. And you get legal residency. Sounds common sense. Okay, fine, sure. But let's talk at this in practice before we even get to the policy. Tom, do we have any record of when any illegalists come across the border?
No.
So therefore, if you say if you've been here for 15 years, you can stay, wouldn't every illegal just say the magic words, hocus pocus, I've been here for 15 years? And even if you could prove it otherwise in court.
Well, that happened in 1986. I was there
Simpson,
in 1986.
Mazzoli, talk about.
He said, I was there in 1986 when they ran that mass amnesty scam under Reagan.
About that.
Well, during IRCA in 1986, or what they call a special assault program, special agriculture worker program. I was a special agent at the time, and I conducted criminal investigations. I can tell you over 85% of those applications were fraudulent. He just went to a farmer, gave him $100, he gave you a letter saying, yeah, he worked for me for 90 days from this day and that day. There is no check and balances on that, so it's just ripe for fraud. And that was a failure of the 1986 amnesty, and it will happen again.
And on top of even the fraud, guys, what it would do then is it would suspend all deportations in real time. Because all they'd have to do is say the magic words and you'd have to adjudicate it and it would back.
Just like the magic words, I'm seeking asylum. They read off the card. The NGOs, the Catholic charities, the Israeli charities, the Democrat charities, the money laundering, the USAID, they were all about, all right, so we're going to flood. Come on, go. I mean, they had miles long trains and caravans of humans from China, from Afghanistan. I mean, really, just throw a dart at any country. This isn't about Mexico. It's not about brown people, black people. It's yellow people, white people. It's just about people who we don't know who they are, and we don't have a right to let you in. Just tell them you're here for amnesty. They abused the system. They created a system that could be abused, and they flooded our country to try to permanently change it because 19% approval rating for Democrats. Nobody likes them. Nobody likes Democrats. It's not to say you don't have compassion. You know, it's like if you're young and you don't vote Democrat, you have no heart. If you're old and you don't vote Republican, you have no brain. You know, the bleeding heart stuff, like, oh, some of it sounds good. Even diversity, equity, inclusion, sort of like those are still I know better. You know better that those are buzzwords. Those are really bad buzzwords. You hear those, you better run because you know what the scam is. It's the opposite of what those are. It's exclusionary, it's discriminatory, it's racist. Oh, yeah. We should be able to include people. Yeah, through merit, not through check marks in boxes of predetermined quotas that discriminate against other groups of people. Yeah, well, those other groups of people have had it too good for too long. You mean white people? Yeah, also men. Oh, men too. Men and white people. And Christians. Oh, and Christians. So basically, you're giving us a list of people you hate, and you want to discriminate against them in perpetuity by codifying DEI into law. Yeah, that's not going to work. No, I'm sorry, dog. That ain't going to work for me. That's what the Democrats support, which is why nobody likes them. Since nobody likes them and everybody fled the big blue cities, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, during COVID because of the massive civil rights abuses, humanitarian abuses from these Democrats. The cities were emptied. They had to restock them somehow. Bring in the hounds. Bring in all the foreigners. 30 million illegal alien invaders have been flooded into this country in the last 4 years under Joe Biden, air quote, wink, wink. That was Barack Obama. We know it. Of course it was him and his team. I want to play you that clip with Stephen Colbert. One of the best, most informative clips about U.S. aid, the Democrats, the government overreach, the treason, the Smith-Mundt Act, all of it rolled into one. It's with Stephen Colbert talking to Barack Obama. I want to get to that. But Charlie continues. Because it would backlog everything and it would grind everything to a halt because they've abused the system. The Democrats have.
Backlog the courts and you wouldn't be able to have hands on any illegal alien, just as a practical matter.
But we gotta go beyond the time in the country, what they're going to claim, what time they have in the country. But we also got to talk the false narrative being pushed by the media that we're deporting U.S. citizens. We're not deporting U.S. citizens. I said this from day one. If you're in the country illegally and you choose to have a child, that's on you. And when you get an order of deportation, it's parenting 101. Either you take the child with you or leave him with a relative, the other spouse. Having a U.S. citizen child in this country doesn't make you immune from our laws. Because if that's the message we send to the whole world, you're never going to fix this problem.
Yes. So let's...
And that's the anchor baby problem. You said anchor baby, that's racist. No. There's nothing countryist. America is a country. If you're not an American and you sneak in here to crap out a kid, you said crap out a kid. Kids are not crap. Enough with the bleeding heart. You know what we're talking about. I have inside knowledge about the travel tourism industry with birthing in Los Angeles, mind you, for many years. Oh, I had an inside track to it, and it's way worse than you know. Somebody flies in from Saudi Arabia, UAE, some country that might hate us, people that might hate us, but there's a plan in place. Come on in. Wife's about to burst. She's 9 months pregnant. They get a fancy hotel in Beverly Hills or Bel Air for a month and a half. They go shopping on Rodeo with their oil money. Hang out for a while, pop out a kid, hop on a flight and head right back. They're not from here. They don't want to be from here. They just want their kid to have the ability to come here with whatever ideology they are imprinted with and then claim they're an American citizen. But they were born to two people who were not citizens. That's the birthright citizenship issue, and it's very important. The only reason it was put in there was to handle the tricky issue of, well, in this country, and what are we going to do? There were slaves, but now slavery's done. But there are people that were born, and what about that's what birthright citizenship was about. You're supposed to become a citizen if you're born to a mother and a father who are American. That's it. Not just, I was born on this soil. Okay. A bird flew over my house and took a dump on my table. I mean, does that have rights now? Like it's not a part of my house. Like what was that about? You're talking about kids like bird crap. Shut up. I'm making an analogy. Have you heard of analogies? I don't know. Maybe it's a little too much for those of you in Rio Lindo, California to handle this morning. All right. Here's President Trump talking about the language of gender-affirming care. I call it unnecessary genital mutilation. At least on this front, there's a lot of... I mean, come on. The comparison between the insanity of Obama-Biden compared to the common sense normalcy of the Trump administration is staggering. It will forever be known as a dark age. Are you saying that because Obama was half white and half black? No, I'm saying it was dark. I don't know why like the loud voices of the lunatic left are in my head and I keep talking about them today, but I'm having fun with it. I hope you're having fun too. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you all are watching. feel free to grab a link to today's show and send it through text to one of your smart friends and go, hey, join us in the chat room. But yeah, where Obama and his ilk wanted to talk about gender affirming care, which is unnecessary genital mutilation, you know, Trump has reversed a lot of this stuff to common sense. And here's the question.
Thank you, Caroline. I want to backtrack to the hospitals that have stopped providing transgender surgeries and hormones for kids.
Hospitals have stopped providing transgender surgeries and hormones for kids. I consider things done to people under the age of 18 to be abuse.
On this front, does that have anything to do with the DOJ's subpoenas last week? Should we expect any more hospitals be shutting down their programs? And I wanted to also ask what you make of all these media reports, especially the AP, which I noticed, which portrays these children as losing something that's saving their lives.
Children who are losing something that would save their lives. That's the biggest lie that these people have told. These people? What do you mean, these people? People that won't protect kids from Munchausen mommies and demonic doctors? Those people? Yeah, that's what I mean. No, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the DSM-5, the Psychological Index of Mental Disorders lists gender dysphoria. You think you're something that you're not. And that's a medical condition. That is a mental condition. That's a malady. That's something that needs some clinical help. You don't help that person by saying, "Oh yeah, no, you are Superman. Totally, jump off that bridge. Yeah, you can jump and fly." That's not helping the person. You're not Superman. A boy is not a girl, and a girl is not a boy. And does any of that have to do with Barack Obama and his significant other? I've heard people talk. I don't know about any of that. It certainly seems like a lot of this insanity started with the Obama administration, along with the most rampant, blatant treason we've ever seen in this nation. So she tries to frame it like, oh, they're going to stop care that will help these people. No. Mangling perfectly useful body parts to try to convince somebody with a mental disorder they can become something that they can't become. Your chromosomes determine what you are. If your chromosomes include a Y in sports, you must compete with guys. Never heard that said before. Maybe someone has, but I believe that's one of my quotes. If your chromosomes include a Y in sports, you must compete with guys. That's it. That's not to knock you. But I'm pro-orgasm. You start slicing people's body parts, you can't come. You can't orgasm. You can't procreate. You can't enjoy sex. You can't, who knows if you're going to have problems with urination and then the whole flow of your plumbing system. They're unnecessary genital mutilations. Well, no, see, just like Michelle Obama, that book Becoming, totally unrelated. See, people can become something that they're not. They can become a woman. No, you can't. No, you can't. And it's okay if you want to dress effeminately. What do I care? Stay out of the girls' bathrooms. You can pretend to be a girl all you want, but I don't have to jump into that game of tennis with you. That's your thing. Just don't creep on girls in locker rooms and bathrooms, and don't compete against them or punch them in sports. We're not asking a lot. Love who you want to love. Do your thing. What do I care? What did Jefferson say? If another person's actions neither picks my pockets nor punches me in the face, what do I care? Breaks my leg or picks my pocket, I think it was. So anyway, this reporter's trying to frame it like, what do you make of these hospitals saying you're going to deny care that will save these lives? No, that's pseudoscience, and it's a bunch of malarkey. You save their lives by working with them to help their brain, help them understand, look, you're suffering from gender dysphoria. You're a boy, you have boy parts. If you're feeling effeminate, if you want to wear a dress and shave your legs, go for it. You want to date a guy or date a girl, hey, that's a you thing. But you don't get to pretend, I'm a girl. I'm going to go win all of the sports events. No cheating. I'm a girl now. I'm going to punch a girl in the face. No, that's domestic abuse, fool. What saves these lives is honesty. Oh, totally. You are Superman. Go ahead and jump off of that building. No. You help them by giving them clear guardrails about who they are, what they are not, and reminding them here's how you get through in this world. Like, relax. You're going through this thing. I know you feel a certain way, but we're not going to chop your breasts off. We're not going to cut your dick off. In a year or two, you might go, wow, that was a phase. They used to call it, I'm a tomboy. Oh, no, now a girl's totally a guy. We're going to pump you full of hormones. Uh-huh. Just like SSRIs. What happens when you pump people full of hormones? All sorts of negative ramifications. We don't want that abuse to befall you, so we're going to protect you from yourself, protect you from the Munchausen mommies, protect you from the demonic doctors. So you have to reframe these instead of, oh, they're denying life-saving care. No, the life-saving care is not buying into the fallacy that someone can become something they're not. A cat cannot become a dog. Why are you anti-dog? These voices in my head of the lunatic left are loud this morning. All right, Carolyn's response.
Yes, I think the president spoke a lot about this issue, which is a political issue, but also really a cultural issue that impacts children and families. He talked about it a lot on the campaign, and I think he was quite surprised by the uptick we were seeing in the embracement by the Democrat Party when it comes to the chemical castration and mutilation of young, innocent bodies.
Unacceptable. Line in the sand. Nope.
And so the president made it a very early priority to sign very strong executive orders to cut off the funding for any hospital or any medical facility in this country that provides such barbaric procedures. And as a result of that...
It is barbaric. It's like something out of Nazi Germany. It's like Joseph Mengele torture, like chamber stuff. It's vile.
Strong policy and the president's strong common sense position on this issue, we've had such an overwhelming response, which is great for children in Arizona. Phoenix Children's Hospital has stopped providing puberty blockers and hormone therapy to minors. In California, Stanford Medicine ended sex change surgeries for minors. Children's Hospital Los Angeles is closing its Center for Trans Youth Health and Development surgical program. In Illinois, Lurie Children's Hospital Chicago stopped sex change surgeries. Again, let's think about what we're talking about here. Sex change surgeries for minors. These are barbaric practices that no child, innocent child, should have to endure. And the president wants to protect the innocence of children. And I know the vast majority of Americans support him in that effort. This is a wildly popular and common sense endeavor this administration has taken. And we've seen many of these medical institutions have followed through with the president's executive orders, but we'll continue to take further action on this important issue.
Thank you.
You got to reclaim your language. Oh, now they're calling Trump senile? Jennings, he works 20 hours a day. He does hours of press conferences every day. You're saying Trump's not visible as a president, unlike Joe Biden hiding for 4 years? So check that clip out. I don't know what this is. What are the Druze? Islamists in Syria are forcing Druze civilians to jump from buildings under gunfire. Is this real? Is this not? They're yelling Allah Akbar. They're forcing people to jump off of tall buildings, allegedly. So this is mixed in with what Israel's doing over in Syria. I don't fully understand it all, but I saw this and what the heck is going on? Tucker talking about a elite cult engaged in demonic ritual abuse of children, claiming it's part of a sinister exchange for power. Also claiming they do this to children for the excitement and their ability to corrupt a child's innocent. Tucker goes on to state that they sacrifice the beauty and innocence of these children for money and fame. We've been talking about this for years. Hey, there you go. State-run propaganda program has been shut down. Stephen Colbert. DNI Gabbard says their goal was to usurp President Trump and subvert the will of the American people. No matter how powerful, every person involved in this conspiracy must be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The integrity of our democratic republic depends on it. Turning over all documents to the Department of Justice for criminal referral. And there it is. Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Hillary, DNC, go. This is Steve Bannon and Jack Posobiec.
I mean, Steve, look, you know, we can zoom out a little bit here. I'm in this. I'm seeing these emails though. Pushing back the president's daily brief. I've never seen anything like this in the certainly not in the Obama admin, saying that they withheld the president's daily brief so that they could set this up with this assessment in it as the one that's pushed. Because the PDB, it doesn't just go to the president. That's what everyone has to understand. It goes to senior members of the government. It goes to senior members of the military. It goes throughout the IC. There are various versions of it that can be read. The president's version, of course, is the most highly classified. And then if you go dig deeper into it, you can get into other levels of compartmentalization because the president's the one, he's supposed to be able to see everything that's in there. They withheld the PDB so that they could set this up this way. And by the way, email after email in here says this is POTUS tasking. Here's the I'm gonna give you a scoop. This is what we got the president, because the President Daly's brief is given to the president-elect. None of this, when CNN reported they were going to ship the 73, we said, hang on. Where did that? Hang on. Where did it come from? Because Trump was we called the chief of staff. This is why the meeting that took place. I'll explain this more later. This is why the meeting that took place on the 3rd to explain it, where they slipped in at the end the dossier in a brown paper envelope and gave it to BuzzFeed. Ben Smith and that team, I think, BuzzFeed that afternoon. That's where that all came from. They didn't do the president's daily briefing because they knew we got the president-elect gets the same briefing that the president of the United States in transition. Okay, they withheld it. This is how duplicitous they are. This is how guilty they are. Ben Rhodes, Obama, all of them are going to rot in a frickin' prison. And this is why we got to get on top of this.
By the way, I heard that Trump is actually serious about opening Alcatraz, renovating it, and getting it going. I think it's fine as a reminder. Alcatraz is so iconic. I know it's expensive, and I know you could just grab a piece of unused land and not in my backyard territory out in the desert somewhere and just build a box. But there's something iconic about Alligator Alcatraz or just Alcatraz. For the worst of the worst, put Fauci, Clinton, Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, all the traitors there, and then keep it for tours. Keep it set up for tours. Hey, kids, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to become a traitor like the deep state Democrats.
This is the deep state. This is the coup against Trump. You can see it all right there. Jack, how are people going to get their arms around this? How do we propose to do this? Because there's a lot here. And that's right. When you go back in the time frame, the PDB would be given to the president-elect. And that, of course, at the time was President Trump. So they made sure to withdraw the original ICA before President Trump could and his team could get a copy of it so that they could only see the revised one. That's why they held this from they were holding it back from Obama. They were making sure that Trump wouldn't have access to it. Look, you are going to see on this. I certainly expect to see hearings. I certainly expect to see people to be able to dig down on this. But
I don't want to hear.
You're going to see prosecutions. I don't want to hear. I want a criminal grand jury. I want a criminal grand jury. Guys, perp walked. Forget hearing.
How do you not see prosecutions?
Forget it.
Enough.
Prosecutions. This is you've got
enough. No more hearings and investigations. Fucking drop the indictment bomb now. You raided Mar-a-Lago, you assholes. You arrested Trump. You framed him in New York. You framed him here. You framed him there. You framed him everywhere. No. That's how they do it. They slow walk. Oh, there's an investigation. Oh, the Durham report. Oh, they're going to talk. Oh, they're sealed indictment. Oh, they're working. Trust the plan. There's a plan in place. Now is the time. Do it. Unleash the hounds. We've known about this for a decade. We've known about this for longer. Obama's been on the scene for 16 years screwing this country up. Screwing you over. And if you step out of line, ask Michael Hastings how that works out, allegedly. Ask Seth Rich how that works out, allegedly. Donald Trump was supposed to be in jail where we could Epstein him. And in absence of that, maybe he was supposed to be splattered in Butler. They missed. Shit. Now they're coming at me. I should have thought that I wasn't God Almighty and that my treasonous activities might actually come back to haunt me. I'm Barack Obama, and I created this mess.
And
this is why they need a special prosecutor.
There's perjury here. There's conspiracy to commit perjury.
From the beginning.
There's obstruction.
You need Judge Janine. Yeah, you need this is treason. This is treason. They tried to thwart an election. They tried to overturn a government. This is treason. This is why I need Judge Janine or Ed Martin or get one of these U.S. attorneys. Somebody needs to take this on full time. They don't have capacity.
It's time for military tribunals, right?
I mean, Steve, look, we can zoom out a little bit here. I'm in this. I'm seeing these emails.
All right, I think that clip reset. And remember what they did, ABC, ESPN, Disney.
When the boxer Olympic situation happened and the woman that he was boxing came out and said enough, I just wrote enough is what we should all be saying.
Samantha Steele Ponder, Sage Steele, both run out of ABC, ESPN, Disney because they didn't want to push that weird Obama doctrine. Why is that? It's because Obama's significant other, because he's with a gay guy or girl or a trans or a what? That's what Joan Rivers said. I don't know if any of that's true, but they certainly started pushing this weirdness in sports where guys are supposed to punch girls and we're supposed to sit down and shut up and accept this is the new normal. And this is compassion. Sorry, no, 2 + 2 does not equal 5. Well, this lady posted enough is what all of us should be saying. Proud of this woman. She didn't want to fight this guy.
And on Twitter. On Twitter. And I knew when I sent that, this isn't going to go over well. But, to me, that's abuse. You have a male in a boxing ring with a female literally beating her. Yeah.
The extent of the damage done by the Obama administration and his ilk is almost undescribable. It is so vast.
And we're just supposed to, yay, in the name of inclusion. No, what about her? What about her? And so I sent it, and then the next week got a text that said, can you jump on a call with this person and this person in an hour? And one of the bosses is someone I never hear from, and I was like, this is it. But I do want to say, to be sure, I do not believe, nor have I ever believed, that I was solely fired for this. I think the model of my career at that point of only working Sundays in the fall on Countdown was not what ESPN wanted, and they felt like they were paying me too much money to do just one thing. And I had turned down opportunities in the past to work more and do more because of the season of life I'm in. I got 3 little kids, and
so anyway, just there's ramifications for going against the backward narratives. Mike Benz here says CIA advising the CIA director to say that he doesn't know about the program that they're telling him about. That's how wonky this stuff is. And thinks the CIA director would be ill-advised to say he's acquainted with this program. Yeah, there you go. They're telling themselves don't. Sid Gottlieb running the CIA side of MK Ultra program, which makes it especially noteworthy. The CIA was privately telling the head of the CIA to publicly say he didn't know about it. MK Ultra. That CIA director would later be found, like Robert Maxwell, dead by drowning in a mysterious boating accident. Guys, the CIA is just destroying.
In honor of NPR being defunded, we had to compile some of their worst articles. Hunter Biden's laptop was...
Yeah, they claimed Hunter Biden's laptop was disinformation, and they don't want to waste their time on stories that aren't really news stories. That's NPR. We don't need to pay for that. That would have cost Hunter or Joe Biden 20% of the vote. It would have really been the 19 to 80%. It would have been the biggest blowout in the history of presidential elections.
We care about the gay ones too.
Anyway, there's music here. I can't play this, but watch the clips if you can. Follow us on Instagram. I'm pressed for time this morning, but this one is Sager about who the feds are protecting.
To prosecute known pedophiles, people who are actually abusing children, not just child pornography. Why? They were concerned if they prosecuted them in open court that sources and methods would be revealed.
Yeah, you should reveal sources and methods that the CIA is involved with that should lead to them getting a military tribunal and the appropriate punishment for treason.
10 different known times here from the CIA Inspector General.
I was just doing my job.
Decided not to prosecute known pedophiles, specifically to make sure that they could protect intelligence at the expense of justice and bringing people and putting these people in jail. So that.
Yeah. So we got to get past that. Axios says FBI asked to flag Epstein files that mentioned. I don't know. Axios seems to be a weird one. If you haven't watched this video, you got to watch this one. Can't play it now. But yeah, he was on the Italian Circle Triangle food story for a long time. British police are running over protesters, allegedly, according to Wall Street Citizen, after they gathered to protest children being AR'd by illegal alien invaders in the UK. So British police run over the protesters. Babylon B says, I'm a time traveler from the year 2025, and I've come here to get rid of you, Shitler. And then as they start yelling at each other, talking to each other, he points out that she's just like him. You want to use government power to take care? Oh, you sound like me. Here you go. Here's the image we can all share. It's on our Instagram feed. Obama looks at the door. Oh, there we are. President Trump in DNI. Come on out, Barry. You know, maybe it won't be that bad of a time for you in prison, actually. If you know what I mean. Work, retire, die here says, married CEOs can't even hug and romantically sway with their married head of HR during a Coldplay concert anymore because of woke. That's funny. So we had to do, thanks, Obama. That Jenna Marbles skit. Here's a thought from Terrence McKenna, who said, allegedly, I think it's a fair quote, or an accurate quote, psychedelics are illegal not because a loving government is concerned that you may jump out of a third-story window. Oh, you mean like the Islamists forced those people to do in that video, allegedly. Unless it's propaganda, which it could be. And if it's not, I'm sorry that I showed it, and I'm sorry that I'm being so flippant about it. I'm trying to let you know there's really bad allegations of things happening. Do with it what you will. But they say psychedelics, Terrence McKenna says, rather, psychedelics are illegal, rather, because they dissolve opinion structures in culturally laid down models of behavior and information processing. They open you up to the possibility that everything you know is wrong. So let me ask people in the chat group, David and Nick and Bella, everybody else. If you found our show and you gathered, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today, says Prince. Buddy, we're going to have to bring you down for today, okay? And we're going to have to take you out for your appointment soon, okay? Mr. Nimbus just wants to be a part of the show. Question of the day, type it in the comments. Since you're watching our show and you get some value and some entertainment and some fun and some community out of this show, that's what I'm trying to provide. Did you take psychedelics? Question of the day, have you taken psychedelics? I wonder the percentage of followers of the New American Media who have taken psychedelics or not. Because if they open you up to the possibility that everything you know is wrong, maybe that's why you're with me trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Illuminati Bot here says, what are the 3 branches of government again? I know it's pedophiles and corporations, but what's the third one? Ugh, wow. All right. Here's an idea. Release the Epstein list on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert. Anyone? Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. Oh, look, they're caught on. Oh, they're snuggling. Look at them snuggling. That's Monica and Billy Boy. Nick says, if the words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness do not include the freedom to experiment with your own consciousness, it's not worth the hemp it was written on. Terrence McKidd. I mean, do no harm. Fairly libertarian. Do your thing. Just don't harm other people. I did reach out to Representative Anna Paulina Luna and asked her to join the Agree to Disagree show. Following this, she says, I'm so glad all these members of Congress are now interested in releasing the files I've been trying to obtain for months. I also think it's pretty shady that the media is still not reporting on the story that broke back in March that there was destruction of evidence at the FBI under Biden. My newfound champions of virtue in Congress did absolutely nothing when I was calling for investigations, and now suddenly they're jumping on the bandwagon. Maybe they should know all the facts first. They should have no issue signing on to the discharge petition I'm about to introduce that would expose the slush fund Congress uses to quietly pay off lawsuits and sexual harassment claims in the House, all funded by your taxpayer dollars, no less. Let's see how virtuous you all really are. We will get transparency, I promise you that. But some of the people are total frauds. Hiding behind the files is a way to virtue signal when they had months to act and did nothing. Insider trade, get trashed, have affairs, and are so morally bankrupt. If you really knew what happened, you would never vote for them ever again. It's gross, honestly. Feds accused of destroying Epstein evidence put on notice by GOP firebrand. Let's see. Thank you. Can I do @Rep Luna? I'll invite her here. Thank you, Rep Luna. Would you join us for an episode of the Agree to Disagree show to unpack this story so more people can connect the treasonous dots? TREASONOUS. Thanks. Oh, I'll say thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you, Rep Luna, for all of your hard work. It's needed now more than ever. It's always a good idea to praise somebody before you ask them for something. All right, there you go, Rep Luna. Thank you, Rep Luna. All right, let me buzz through X right quick. Share with you what I can in the remaining moments of today's show. Nick Adams is a big McKenna fan. Oh, come on. Like, I couldn't have guessed that, Nick. But I am curious from the others. Sid, David. And if you're concerned about implicating yourself, you could say something like, I've never not taken psychedelics. Use a double negative. Or not. That's fine. I don't want to implicate. But I mean, like, I'm very curious because once you have those avenues, those pathways opened in your neurons, it's the blue pill, red pill. There's no going back. You can't rewire what's going on. Let's buzz through the latest news, shall we? George in Bahisi tweets says, our greatest ally and super special friend, Israel, bombed the only Catholic church in Gaza, but the cross remained. Clandestine here points this out. Let me play this brief clip from Hannity and DNI Gabbard.
Now, to me, it sounds like you have appointed powerful bureaucrats that just flat out created a narrative that was false to undermine a duly elected president. Now, if that's not a grand conspiracy, I don't know what would be. Do you see crimes here?
I do, Sean, and I'm referring all of these documents that we have found and uncovered, referring them to the Department of Justice for further investigation, accountability, and action, not just investigation, but action. Accountability has to take place. The American people's ability to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic is literally what's at stake, and therefore the future of our ability to exist as the country that we know it. This accountability is critical to make sure that this never happens again, exposing the truth and naming those who are responsible should drive that accountability that has to take place.
Accountability is 100% necessary.
Now, to me, it sounds like
Clandestine here says, I'm doing my best to not get too excited. But how can you not? Folks, if we meet to get psychedelics so long ago. Bella, Sid, what is your age? What age range are you in? Nick's a youngster. What's your age, Nick? You're a young fella. You're a young fella, ain't ya? I'm curious about the demographics of this show. But look, this might be the most exciting time we've had together. Finally. But only if they're indicted, only if they're perp walked, only if we get the mugshots. Clandestine, who's been on top of a lot of these big stories, says, I'm doing my best to not get too excited, but how can you not? Tulsi says, accountability has to take place. Yeah, thank you. That's the beginning and the end of it all. She's dead serious, and she referred all these docs to the Department of Justice. Look at her eyes closed, him with his eyes closed. They're like, this is a heavy thing that's about to happen. And I find it hard to believe that Trump would roll this all out unless he was certain of victory. Trump is completely pot committed at this point. Tulsi just accused former President Obama of treason. There's no going back now. Justice is the only path forward. Wall Street Apes points out that while Barack Obama is trending, this is one of the most catastrophic things Obama did, and it must be reversed. Mike Benz talks with Joe Rogan about what Barack Obama really did by repealing the Smith-Mundt Act. It's so much bigger than just allowing use of propaganda on Americans. It's allowed for infiltration and co-opting of the universities and the unions and the media and the politicians and the judges. There's so much to it. Please check this out. It's a 5-minute clip. I said, we've covered Obama's reversal of Smith-Mundt for years, but we've never understood why real Donald Trump didn't instantly reverse it on day one or on his second day one. That part makes no sense. Can I edit this? Is it too late for me to edit? We invite at Mike Benz. What's his handle? Mike Benz Cyber on for an episode of the Agree to Disagree show to help further unpack the atrocity of Smith-Mundt and to help us understand. Yes, Nimbus, I know. Why at real Donald Trump hasn't reversed the reversal yet. What do you say, Mike? Open for an interview? Thank you for your attention to this matter. We invite Mike Benz to the Agree to Disagree show. There you go. Now I've invited Mike Benz, Anna Paulina Luna, and who else was the other one? I don't know. Alex Jones, O'Keefe investigation shows CIA operatives admitting to intentionally withholding information from President Trump about Chinese communist threats. Watch that video. Gateway Pundit says Stephen Colbert's show was losing $40 million a year before its cancellation. And by the way, let me end you on your moment of zen right here. CBS, Liz Churchill says he knew what he was doing knowingly. And we said we reference this weekly. We've called Biden's debacle Obama's third and most honest term for years. It's true. It's all true. And here we combine two of the grossest, most disgusting political hacks we've ever seen, Stephen Colbert and Barack Hussein Obama, in one video. One fell swoop. Here you go. Here it is. Your moment of Zen. Oh, can't play it there. Hold on. Jamie, pull up the clip. There we go.
If I could make an arrangement where...
and I repeat this all the time. I don't usually call it an arrangement, but I need to like learn this and then repeat it word for word, or at least as close to it as possible. But this is Barry Obama telling us all what he was going to do by installing Joe Biden. 81 million totally legitimate votes my ass. Here you go, Stephen Colbert and Barry Obama.
If I could make an arrangement where I had a
bathhouse Barry, whatever you want to call him.
I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that because I found the work fascinating. I mean, I write about the even on my worst days, I found puzzling out.
Stephen Colbert, everybody.
You know.
So he wants a stand-in. And guess what? Soon you're going to be standing in front of a military tribunal, you traitorous leech. You lech. You traitor. You bum. You anti-American, vile criminal perpetrator. Oh, you know, unless there's a nuclear World War III or a global pandemic that, you know, gets in the way again, like Trump's last term. Knock on wood. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right. I got to bounce. If you're not following us in all the places, please follow us in all of the places. The New American Media is on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Live, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, D Live, and YouTube at The New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Our podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. So Nick and David and Sid and everybody, if you're podcast listeners and you're not following us, could you please subscribe to the Agree to Disagree Show, please? And everybody else watching, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Also, if anybody likes our program, we do appreciate the Patreon subscribers who give us either $5 a month, $15 a month, $100 a month, or $1,000 a month, and it helps fund our operations. Yeah, for just a few $1,000 a month, we can be fully self-sufficient. We're building toward that goal. Everything you offer is super appreciated. Patreon, The New American Media. Our tip jar is Venmo and Cash App at BrianEngelman. And our PayPal is found by typing in fuzz installment at yahoo.com. Nick, do you like quickie shows or do you like longer shows? I know. But, you know, I'm capable of just hammering through what's going on. But I like the deep dive. I like the peeling back the layers of the onion and unpacking the story. David, Sid, do you like longer shows or shorter shows? You know, I watch some shows and they're in and out, an hour. Like, I get it. And that's fine. There's a place for it. But I left 30 stories and a whole bunch of things I wanted to talk about today on the table. You know, because sometimes that happens and sometimes you need to do other things with your day. But I think there's a value to both of them. And I know I want to do shorter content, like maybe minute bursts. We'll do a TNAM minute. Yeah, Nick says both are fine with me, honestly. And I think they're fine with me, too. I know, like, Blake couldn't stand when a show went past 60 to 90 minutes. And I'm like, then drop off. Go, all right, man, that's what I had to deliver today. I'm going to bounce. I got other things to do. All right, cool. Didn't really work for him, though. He needed to, like, no, it has to be. And I'm like, well, then you do your show the way you want to do it. Then my shows started getting longer and longer and longer. But it's all right. Look, we're all trying to navigate this experience the best way that we can, and we partner where we can, and we team up where we can. And as long as we're providing value, finding value, we'll keep showing up. So thank you all for showing up on the show today. And we'll be back on Monday. But link up with us in all those other places and send us messages and tag us on X at American_media_ this content from previous years. There's a lot of great interviews, and we will talk with you again soon. All right. Signing out. I appreciate you. I love you. Go enjoy your fantastic weekend. Like Nimbus. Nimbus trying to get some scritches in on my peace sign. All right, everybody. Take care. Deuces. Bye-bye.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.